Hey guys, just another reminder to do the like, comment, subscribe thing. Trying to get so that we're monetized. Um, view time helps too, so I think I'm going to start making the videos a little bit longer. But that brings me to the second thing. We're probably going to be changing the channel name. I know it doesn't really matter to most people, but kind of started off as the VQ Miata because the VQ Miata is all that we had at the time. So yeah, the next video is not going to be about the Miata. It's going to be about something else. So I think it's time that we just go ahead and do that transition into a new brand or name, I guess, so that I'm not tied specifically to this car. All right, so now that I have the turbo kit all done, so we've got our turbo kit part, crossovers, and then the heads are over there somewhere with the exhaust manifolds on them. I was working on the AC compressor mount, but I absolutely hate that. And whenever you get frustrated with something, the worst thing you can do is continue to just pester at it, because you never do a good job after that. So turbo kit was done. Kind of looks cool going all the way down in the car. You can see it straight back, least bends as possible. I think I did a pretty good job for having to go around the steering and stuff. So that's what we got. So now what we have going on now is I went full racer mode, and I wanted the fact that I had a ball bearing turbo to be able to hear it. And I also have this like dream in my head that I had a long time ago of having one of these electronic exhausts for the dump. And when I say I went full racer mode, I mean I went full racer mode and I chopped a hole in the chassis of the Miata so that I can clear an exhaust tube to dump out the side skirt. Do I need it? No. Do I want to do it? Yeah. So we're gonna do that. I have the car sketchily set up, as you can tell behind me. The chassis is being supported by the engine hoist here, old trusty, and then the wheel is being supported by this bar that is precariously at an angle barely in there. I have the coilover removed. That's right there. Duh. So, and what I'm doing is I wanted to show, make sure everybody understood that even at full compression, it's hitting. And it's turned all the way as far left as you can go. I had some rust in there, yeah. You seen that? That shit sucks. That's where my gate's gonna be. This guy. So we're gonna come out there. I'm gonna do a nice body work to it. And then if I can find the piece real quick. I cannot because I'm ill-prepared. You want to see something really annoying? So I got pissed off at that AC compressor bracket thing. I tried to just MIG weld this really fast, and it turned out like shit. So I didn't want to do that anymore. And even though in the last video I said I wasn't going to do this fender dump, I decided to do that because it seemed like it would be fun. And I was wrong. So this is the dump. And that's obviously my downpipe. I haven't cut, so I need to place this flange. Just set there. It's just one tack. It's not even cut open because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it fit. So in the last video I talked about doing the subframe stuff, which I did do this. I cut it, I reinforced it. It's all plated all the way through, but I decided not to do this side because I think eventually I'm gonna buy a tubular front subframe, but they're $800 right now, and I'm trying to get the car back on the road, and I still have to buy heads for it. So for now, we're gonna work on this shit. This thing has to go here. So, as you can imagine, it's very difficult. I am moving this brake line. It's going to go down through the chassis and come out over here a little bit and be out of the way. So, this is what I have to do. Engine is back out. All this shit's all torn apart. And we'll be back in a couple seconds. Well, you'll be back in a couple seconds. And it'll all be back together so that I can tack weld that single flange in place and make sure everything is gonna fit. And then it's all gotta come back apart again. So I saved you guys all the trouble of having to watch me put it all back together for the 8 millionth time. Heads are on, blocks bolted down, everything's good. It's all solid, nothing's going anywhere. I did go ahead and mount this. It is welded now. Everything's mounted in place. I started making this mock-up tube that has a few bends in it, but that's gonna go something like that, I think. And then I'm gonna have that pipe connect there, and we'll bring it out. So I'm gonna tack all that together so that it's pretty well like secured in place and it's not gonna shift or move or anything like that. And then we're gonna see what we're gonna do for a tip on it. I don't know what I want to do yet. I might end up just putting a sleeve on it. Here, I got one of these things actually here. So these are a little bit bigger than 3-inch. I cut it all wonky, but I have a lot of them. And I'm thinking about making a key here. So that'll be hidden behind the side skirt. Like here. And then you'll have a pipe. So like I got this one, it's long. I can cut it whatever length I want. And then it'll have a pipe that slots like that, and then you twist it and it would lock. And then that would be a tip that came out of the side so that it wasn't always sticking out of the side skirt. I might also do a pie cut 90 and then scallop it so that it's like a teardrop look. I haven't really decided yet, so we're gonna see what happens when we get there. Okay, I got everything tacked together. It's all welded pretty tight, like you can pull on it, you know, get the point. I have this piece still go there. Haven't decided if I'm doing that slip yoke thing or not yet. But as you'll see in the time lapse that I just did, we put the wheel back on, we disconnected the steering, put a pipe up underneath on the jack so that we can lift the tire up and down to check for clearance. Oh, you can see my gate thing down there. That's pretty cool. Anyways, it doesn't hit, so that's good. Now we can decide what we're gonna do with this. I might actually end up making the tips be the thing that has this part. It'll give me a little bit more freedom. And then, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what's next. I did this to get away from the AC compressor bracket, and I think I got a new idea for that. So maybe we'll go back to that. I don't know. But let's finish this one up. Maybe I'll throw it on a time-lapse weld net. Alright, I don't know where we left off because honestly it's been about 2 or 3 weeks since I've done anything to the Miata. I don't know if you guys have noticed in the background or not, the few of you that have watched, but my shop is full of books. My wife and I are starting a used bookstore, and that's like her project, so I took a little bit of time from the Miata and I focused on helping her with that stuff. Since I've done any videoing, I think I have taken everything apart. Turbo kit and everything's over here. Everything's finalized with that. But I did my AC compressor and tensioner brackets off film. I did this a couple times and I didn't really like it any of the times. Like, originally I had this idea of this pivoting system where that would be there and then the AC compressor would mount to brackets, and then that's how the belt would tension. Obviously that didn't work, so we shifted to this. So we'll do a quick little switch here real quick and come back and I'll have everything together. Alright, and that's back together. So you'll see my bolts aren't all the right sizes because in one of my attempts I had cut the heads off and I welded them here, and like this bracket's the same as what was or is there now, same concept, but I welded a captive nut inside there instead of a stud. I'll throw a picture up on the screen while I'm talking real quick of it. You couldn't get the compressor off without taking the bracket out, so as you can imagine that was very difficult. As you can see, it made it nearly impossible to get it off, so we came to this, but unfortunately I have to get new bolts. That's not the worst case. So everything's all lined up perfect. Obviously it's at an angle because it's on the bench weird, but the belt looks good. It was very difficult to get this lined up, like, because you don't have to just line it up this way. It has to be lined up this way, and this way, all at the same time. and with no idea how to tension it, because you got to figure I have a huge exhaust pipe, well, not huge, but whatever, big exhaust pipe that has to run down and through that space as well. So it can't move a lot. And obviously I'm trying to make it look half decent while it's in the car. So I spent a lot of time on this. I apologize for not videoing it, recording it, whatever, but kind of needed to think on that project. It was more difficult than what I thought it was going to be. In good news, we are hammering away at our list so far. We're pretty much done with all of the large projects other than my new intake manifold. Oh, I also did that, but I don't know if I took a clip of it yet. If not, I'll do one whenever I put it all back together. Alright, so I got all this shit back together, and I was gonna work on this intake manifold, but I can't, because I realized since the car is on stands unequally, the hood doesn't close properly. And yeah. I think the car's tweaked just ever so slightly. And I need to measure the gap between my old intake manifold and the hood so that I know what I'm doing. So instead, we're gonna finish this space off over here. I have that big thing of sheet metal. We're gonna cut it up, we're gonna bend it, we're gonna weld it with a MIG welder because it's under the car, I don't really care. Then we're gonna hit it with some rubberized undercoating. Close this shit in so the water doesn't get inside, because that hole right there is inside. So let's get it done. Alright, as you've seen in the time lapse, I've been working on this quite a bit. And that's what I came up with. It is not perfect in any way. I do not claim for it to be. We have a big hole right there. But I realized while I was doing this that there's already holes right here to the outside world, and there was another one right here somewhere. So this doesn't need to be perfectly sealed, although I was gonna weld it super nice and, you know, blah blah blah, and be super proud of how nice it was. And then I realized that it's gonna be underneath the car, You guys are gonna see it, and then nobody's ever gonna see it ever again unless I flip the car. So I don't care what it looks like. Um, the spot welds will be plenty enough for that little bit of sheet weld or sheet metal. We're gonna throw some seam sealer on it, and then we will primer it because that is bare metal, and then we will coat it with rubberized undercoating, or I might do bed liner. I like this stuff more than the rubberized undercoating, especially seeing how there's gonna be a pipe almost touching right here. So I guess the next update will be with the pipe back on. All right, that's what it looks like done. I forgot that I had done this stupid Fender thing, so I didn't get to put my side skirt piece back on, but it comes out okay. You can see it down in there. Meets up with the gate. Oh, I guess you can't really see much this way. Yeah, there it is. So, there you go, right there. And then my coolant tube that I said I was going to talk about. That was just leftover stuff from the wastegate stuff, and my wife said to use it there. Why not? And I think it looked all right. I got everything set down. I started making my plate here for the throttle body placement because I do have big AN lines that go there. Same thing on the other side. There's another big one back there. So I want to make sure that the throttle body is placed in the same location, because it also has to clear a coil pack that sits here, so it has to be height in the right place. And then I have intercooler piping. I have intercooler piping that I honestly don't really feel like remaking if I don't have to, so I'm not going to. We're just going to place throttle body where it was. It'll make plenty of power. I'm not really worried about that.